First thing I need to know, Chief, do you like that nickname? Do you hate that nickname?
Love it.
Love it.
It is, and obviously proud of my heritage, but and it's a comfort zone, particularly with players, and it makes them a lot more comfortable when they can call me Chief.
Most people want to know, they've seen this LSU defense under Nick, under Bo, under the last two guys, and it's deteriorated, I guess, over the years. Everybody wants an attacking style defense, but different coaches go about getting it different ways, I guess. How do you go about getting an attacking style defense?
Well, we're going to be very aggressive in the things that we do, but it starts in preparation, and it starts in terms of having the personnel. And certainly, from what I've seen in terms of personnel here, we have the personnel to play that style of defense. And I really think they did a good job, particularly in the bowl game. When you start looking at how well they played that scheme and played in the bowl game, you got to be excited about the players that are coming back off that defensive football team.
Obviously, yeah, it talks a little bit to their want to play better football as well, and that's new fresh blood in here with the two guys you're bringing in. You got to imagine their attitude is going to be pretty good for you.
Well, we're going to require it to be, and we'll establish that as a coaching staff, and we're going to be demanding on the field, on the practice field. That's where it all starts. Certainly, a big part of my philosophy is trying to make the situations on the practice field as tough or tougher than it's going to be in the game. And if you can create that kind of scenario on the practice field, then it makes getting to the game, not that it's ever going to be easy, but it makes it a lot easier when you've challenged them physically and you've challenged them mentally on the practice field.
Is there a book on a John Chavis style of defense, something that people would point to and say, yeah, that's his?
If there is, I certainly would think that they would say that he's going to be very, very aggressive, that he's going to keep pushing the buttons, that he's not going to back off, and that's the way you like to see your teams play. And I think we've had some teams in the past that has played that way. I'm looking forward to watching this group and getting them ready to go play that way.
Coach, the SEC is a very impatient league, as you know. You feel like, hey, it's your job to get results immediately with this group?
I think that's a big part of it. There's no question that I feel that, and that's why I was hired, and I expect that out of myself. And certainly, Coach Miles has put together an excellent staff here defensively, and like you said, it's a demanding league. You need to win, and you need to win now, and that's what it's all about. We will take what we've got, and we will make the best out of it. And I think we've got a really outstanding group to start with. Now, I'm not a guy that's going to go out and make promises. I don't do that. We're going to strive every day to be as good as we can and be a little bit better the next day. And if we take that approach, then I think we can make our fan base happy with what we're going to do.
Talking to you and the other coaches, it seems like there's kind of a recurring theme here as far as discipline is concerned, and really getting after that part of the equation. True?
No doubt. When you start looking at winning and losing football games, one thing that I think holds true all the time. It's not 100%, but it's very close. A team that makes the fewest mistakes will win, and that's where discipline comes in. It also, for us, being disciplined as a staff too, not asking our players to do things that they don't understand, making sure they got a great understanding of what we want done, and them having the ability to go out and execute it. So, the discipline part will eliminate mistakes both on our part and their part. So. When you do that, then you've got a chance to have an outstanding football team.
How fine a line is that walking between wanting to do a lot of things but maybe doing too many things?
That's a great question, because that's one of the things that Coach Miles and I talked about in the interview process, and we talked about how we put the scheme in and the things that we're going to do. We're going to make sure that it's taught thoroughly. We're going to make sure that everybody understands. If that means that we can't get everything in, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're going to do the things that we can do well. We're going to be able to go out and execute, and I think that's you kind of hit the nail right on the head when I said it's a great question. There's a lot of great schemes, but if your players can't execute them, then it's not going to work.
So you being in this business a long time, you have a feel about really what your guys can and cannot do under pressure, and you won't ask them to do any more than that, right?
Well, I think I do. I really do, and that was one of my deals. Even 15 years ago, when I first became a coordinator in the SEC. We had a coordinator on that team that was a walk-around guy. But I insisted that I coach linebackers even after that, because I want to know every day what they know. I want to be able to evaluate them. I want to put myself right where they are and understand what they know, and that gives me a comfort zone in terms of what we can do.
How much input did you have in putting this staff together?
We talked about it. Certainly he asked me for names, and the first name I gave him was a guy that he was very familiar with is Andre Haley and Brick. And then we started talking about other people, and the first name that he asked me about was Ron, and certainly he knew a lot about Ron, and I did too. We talked about it a good bit, but ultimately he listened to what I said in terms of the names, but he certainly made the decisions, and I'm happy with everything that's going on from that standpoint. So things were discussed, but obviously the head coach makes those decisions.